I don't even know really how to characterize this. You have Brett Weinstein and his wife, Heather Heying. And I can't tell if they're at a diner in a booth or they're at like some type of...
On CNN tonight, Anderson Cooper dives into the latest meltdown from Brett and Heather Weinstein, who can't seem to contain their panic over RFK Jr., controversial vice presidential pick. With wild accusations flying, they're spiraling deeper into conspiracy theories. Let's break this down together.
In the Dark Horse basement, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's like just a green screen or something like that behind them. And this is, I really should spend more time watching this podcast because I feel like it's like a story of people going slowly insane. I actually think it would be fascinating to take all of their episodes, string them together on one cut, and then do it at like 50 times speed and just watch how slow,
like a time lapse.
Yeah,
of insanity.
but opposite.
Or
Yeah,
have a therapist.
exactly. But here's Brett Weinstein speculating that Callie and Casey Means, who apparently were RFK Jr. Surrogates, might be some type of a plant.
Right.
This moment highlights the paranoia gripping some factions of society. The notion that potential allies could be plants shows a profound distrust in political movements, revealing how fear can distort perceptions and fuel division.
Now Kennedy's vice president nominee, she said she was pissed about this too, because she said she was promised that they would not be appointed. Now, I guess it's because supposedly they're not as anti-vax as Kennedy would let on. Now, this is...
And she said, like, Nicole, what's her last name? Shanahan. She was like, I don't know what forces are forcing Bobby to do this. Like, there always has to be, like, some other answer that isn't the obvious one. But it's, I get, so one of the Means people is she went to Stanford Medical School is what I read, but
she went to Stanford
dropped
Medical.
out in the middle of her residency, so she doesn't even have a degree.
She doesn't have a degree. At one point, she was supposedly at the top of her class in Stanford, but they don't do grades. They only do pass-fail.
Top of my pass-fail class.
And
35 other people.
Supposedly she wanted to be an academic. I mean, who knows? But
she did found Levels, a business based around selling continuous glucose monitors and subscription health tracking app. It's so funny how all of these Maha people have their own businesses.
Oh, no, they're medical entrepreneurs. But that is well established. But I'll tell you something. If this whole arc of this season ends up with Kennedy as a secret pharmaceutical...
Here, the implication is staggering. Are we witnessing the rise of a candidate merely serving the interests of Big Pharma? This kind of rhetoric not only questions Kennedy's integrity, but also reflects a broader skepticism toward political figures and their motives, stirring the pot for conspiracy theorists.
It's a secret Fauci.
I mean, my kids cried when they heard Big Pharma is going to make more in Europe.
The Fauci is coming from inside the house.
One of the things that seems to be happening is that there, I think predictably, are a number of wedge issues emerging to drive the coalition crazy as it attempts to get its footing in the new administration.
Oh, pause it for 1 second. I should just tell you, if you read the decoder key that comes with every episode of this, you'll find out by coalition, he means him and his wife.
And maybe his brother, too.
A coalition of my personal family, my nuclear family.
And how much my phone is ringing.
And can I want to just, we didn't say fully, Casey Means was being nominated for Surgeon General.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And I said she doesn't have a degree. I meant she doesn't have a license. So she got her degree, but wasn't licensed after going through her residency. So either way, she's not, not have your medical license to be the Surgeon General. Oh boy, but keep going.
That's not Brett's problem.
Yeah.
A number of wedge issues emerging to drive the coalition crazy as it attempts to get its footing in the new administration. The fissure that has developed surrounds the fact that suspiciously to many of us in all of what is said by the Means siblings, and I wish there was an easier way to refer to them. That's awkward construction, but the Means siblings seem very focused on food and strangely not focused on the lessons of COVID and pharmaceuticals, especially the dangers of the mRNA vaccines. And that is giving many of us alarm. So that's a fissure, a predictable one.
First off, the implication is that there's somehow like forces outside of like MAGA that are acting upon this, and it's a predictable fissure that that Kennedy would bring in somebody who's obsessed with food as opposed to being obsessed with the pandemic.
Yep. That's how they do it.
See, they're trying to divide us, and it's not. Don't worry.
It's simulated opposition.
Kennedy's not culpable. It's somebody making him do it. Trump's not culpable. It's somebody making him do that too. I like how Trump is also the most powerful person in the world, and we should respect him. But he's also completely helpless to be president. It's very interesting.
I mean, the forces we're up against are just huge.
It's huge.
A predictable one. And it has me thinking a lot about, first of all, is the fissure even organic? There is something interesting about the sudden rise of Callie and Casey Means.
Yes, there is.
Interesting.
Nobody knows what it means. I'm not going to level any accusations, but it is interesting that these two came from relative obscurity and find themselves at the pinnacle of Maha in a position to advance a very important case.
Like everybody in that community didn't come out of like relative obscurity, and all they did one video where they basically said that the vaccine harmed them, or
here's some magnets that clean your blood.
Exactly. Colloidal silver, but this time with a minty fresh aftertaste.
He's so mad he doesn't have an official position.
Both the Weinstein brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're interchangeable in terms of their complaints.
What is this draw for people who are podcasters to make 80% of their content about their own personal aggrievement in like very, very thinly veiled segments?
I mean, let's face it. We're sitting here with a camera on us for half the day with a microphone. Finding people with a little bit of a sense of centering themselves is probably not that difficult.
I understand.
It's just that it's the difference between having an awareness of like how... Listen, I got to be honest with you. I've been very, very upset that no one from the administration has contacted me.
Yeah.
Are these wedge issues organic that they keep throwing at me and separating from my friends and making people not call me anymore?
Yeah.
Clearly, this is not organic. It's all simulated.
Sam didn't get a text back on the right stuff, and it must be some evil, otherworldly forces outside of your control.
I find it interesting that I keep swiping on the right stuff, and no one is matching with me. I wonder if it's organic. Okay.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the put that up the bad stats for clipping this video.
Always watching this show for us.
They're very good at
Yes.
Who knows what it means? I'm not going to level any accusations, but it is interesting that these two came from relative obscurity and find themselves at the pinnacle of Maha in a position to advance a very important case that just so happens to obscure another very important case. And they're doing so at a moment at which Pharma must have seen the writing on the wall.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I know what the Surgeon General does. Keep that in mind that all of the policy apparatus is held by not this Surgeon General.
But how is Pharma able to get in between RFK Jr. and like where are the cracks here? Who's the weak link?
It's so
that's the question.
Suspicious that you're bringing that up
because we know it's not RFK or Trump himself.
It can't be them. So it's got to be something else.
Who plucked two freaks out of obscurity and put them into an official position?
Very
isn't happening all around us.
Very strange.
Leave it on the.
Yeah, let's do this. Trump fired Carla Hayden. She was the first person of color, black person, to be the Librarian of Congress. The Library of Congress, I think probably in the country, has the greatest collection of copyrighted and maybe even uncopyrighted material in one, database, essentially.
Anything that's published,
It
pretty
is
much.
the record of the written word in this country.
162 million items, the largest library in the world.
Now, today, in the wake of firing Hayden, the Trump administration also fired the head of the U.S. Copyright Office, Shira Perlmutter, who was appointed by Carla Hayden. And we should say this firing of the head of the U.S. Copyright Office happened days after the Copyright Office issued a report saying the amount of the mass use of copyrighted data by AI companies is problematic.
AI, yeah.
AI companies. And threatened in some way to maybe slow the roll of AI technology from consuming all of this copyrighted material and then regurgitating it in the form of like, oh, actually, this is a thought that I've conceived of. And so what do you do if you're the White House press secretary and you don't have a substantive answer as to why the head of the Library of Congress would be fired, and then we now know after that, the next day, the head of the Copyright Office fired. Well, this is what you do.
The president.
Question, the president fired the Librarian of Congress. Why did he choose to do that?
We felt she did not fit the needs of the American people. There were quite concerning things that she had done at the Library of Congress in the pursuit of DEI and putting inappropriate books in the library for children, and we don't believe that she was serving the interests of the American taxpayer well, so she has been removed from her position, and the president is well within his rights to do that.
This is a critical insight into the justification of power. As discussions around authority and accountability unfold, it underscores how easily those in power can manipulate the narrative, masking their actions under the guise of legality while eroding public trust.
John, the president.
Okay, here's the interesting thing about those books that inappropriate for the kids. I mean, in addition to like the mission of the Library of Congress is to collect all these things.
Every book.
Kids don't take books out of the Library of Congress.
What?
It's not like a
Field trip to
library
the
where you
library
get where you get a card and you take out these books. I mean, if you go for research, but I find it hard to believe that like you're going to have like third graders going for research and seeing inappropriate work.
Crap,
there.
Barney the dog is checked out.
But they had to make this up, and of course DEI is the all-purpose go-to.
She's black.
Okay. Well, there you go.
She's doing some concerning DEI stuff, like having black skin.
Can you put up the previous Librarians of Congress? I just sent this because, honestly, the DEI must have gone way back, right?
Oh, this has been going on for so long.
This has been going on for so long. These are the previous Librarians of Congress.
Okay.
James H. Billington. Not a woman, not a person of
87
color.
to 2018.
I know, pretty.
Smokes.
I mean, but these people hold these positions for a while. But not, of course,
Okay.
if you're a black woman and
Okay.
Trump comes into office.
Wait a second. Okay, so far I see a lot of DEI. One guy with glasses and then two guys not. A
Barston.
full mix of different types of guys.
That's the accessibility part.
One guy wears a bow tie, the other's not a bow tie.
Luther Evan.
Okay.
Okay.
God, we're back into the 19th
Okay.
century now.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
and now, okay, here's a guy with a mustache.
There you
That's
go.
different. Another guy with a mustache. We broke the mold. That's when there was DEI. Well, into the 20th
There's
century.
DEI for Irishmen.
I'm just so glad that we're returning to those eras.
And now we're to the point where they don't have
Even-
photo images.
or artistic renderings of those white men, all of them, until this
But look how
appointment.
different he looked than the other ones.
Now
He's
look at
like-
hers.
He's in color.
See, DEI.
About the librarian. Well, I feel safer now knowing that she doesn't have all of our records.
She's not trying to give inappropriate books to kids.
You know, you say kids don't take books out there, but what if you're Matt Gaetz and you're trying to impress a date or something?
That's a good point.
Go by and do some
Right. And you,
browsing.
Yep, exactly. DEI.
Allegedly.
As we dissect the chaos erupting from Brett and Heather's commentary, it's crucial to recognize the larger implications of their claims. The fear of hidden agendas and the intertwining of politics and pharmaceutical interests are more than just wild theories. They reflect a growing distrust in our systems. What do you think? Are we being manipulated by those we trust?